Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm excited for today's video. We are going to be trying out the brand new Wayne Goss Luxury Eye Palette. I have the Pearl palette with me here today, and I am going to do 2 looks and give you guys my first impressions. I did just receive this in the mail last night, and I am so excited. Now, if you are not new to my channel, you will know I have a soft spot in my heart for Wayne. I really do enjoy not only his aesthetic as a makeup artist, his YouTube channel. I love his brushes, and I really enjoyed his makeup so far. I do have the original palette that Wayne launched, the Topaz palette. I did not get the Moonstone palette, but I do have the Topaz. We will do a little compare today, but really I'm excited to try out this new palette and give you my thoughts. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. But let's get right into this palette. Now, I did already do a full face of makeup. Some of it is Wayne Goss, of course. I figured, well, this is the moment to do that. I will be sharing those details with you at the end of this video. So I know that my palette took a little bit of time to get here. So I know there are tons of reviews, lots of info on this palette out already. So I just want to go through the details quickly for you and get into my thoughts on it. I'm very excited to dive in. I'm a little heartbroken though, because mine did arrive broken. If you can see, the like celestial shade is shattered. I guess I wouldn't say it's shattered. It has a good chunk that's kind of like come away from its friend. So I'm going to be very delicate with this one today. I'm really kind of disappointed because I wanted to be able to like flip this to be able to show you. There we go. We can kind of do this. We're just going to try to be steady-handed. So I'm going to show you guys as well. This is the original palette. Now this one obviously has a much warmer tone, whereas this, I'm gonna try to like tilt it. There we go. This one has a more like pinky beige and almost like taupey gray vibe to it. Now you do get a nice amount of product in this palette, and it is $55. Now again, if you've been on my channel before, you'll probably know that I really do love and adore the original Topaz palette. It was in my monthly favorites, I think in my last one that I did, which I think was May. I just think Wayne's formula is so easy to use. It is really, honestly, very friendly for all skin types. This is a really nice shadow formula if you are newer to makeup, if you are looking for something that is just easy to buff and blend, and I really do think that you get a beautiful look. Now, these are not going to be like bam in your face metallics, and this is funny because I actually just last night had my Glam Shop live swatch party, which some of those are like really like crazy shimmer, high foil, high sparkle. But that definitely is a different vibe. It's a different aesthetic, but also you are going to obviously see more texture on the eyelid with most of those types of formulas. So this is a very great texture friendly formula. I'm really excited to try out this color story. I was on the fence though, because, and we'll get into this, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold off on all of my thoughts, but I will say I was a little bit hesitant to get this one because while we do have different shades in here, I feel like there's a lot of the same depth of tone, and we're going to talk about that as we get into like working with these shadows. But I'm very excited to try it out. I really do. I think that these colors are lovely, and I love Wayne's formula, so I decided to go for this one. Now, I really don't wear a lot of like grays, like especially like the more blue tone grays or blues themselves. So I skipped out on the Moonstone palette, but that peach shade, that peach shade in the upper corner, I was like, oh. And so now I'm glad I can kind of get a little bit of that vibe. It's a little bit more in the pinky tone, but we're gonna get a little peach from Wayne as well. So what we're gonna do today is do a more like light ethereal daytime easy look. I think it's gonna just be blown out color. And then I'm gonna try to see, I'm gonna challenge myself to get as dramatic on this side as possible, because when I look at this, I don't think of like high drama, but we're gonna try to like push the palette and we will see how it goes. So I will share with you some comparison swatches at the end. I will go ahead and compare it to the original Topaz palette, and I'm gonna dig through my collection and see if there's anything else that kind of has a similar vibe in case you have those palettes in your collection, or I might even pull out something that I thought would be similar and actually isn't, so that you can kind of know that as well. I'll let you know how Wayne describes these colors, and I'll insert swatches for you. So our first shade is a pink beige with a matte finish. We have a pearl beige with a satin finish, a soft pink with a matte finish, a soft brown with a matte finish, a taupe brown with a matte finish, and then we have a sparkling peach with a shimmer finish. Now I have to say, I do wish that one more of these was Wayne's satin formula, because I do really enjoy that. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. Okay, so let's just hop right in here. Now I'm gonna start off with that top shade, that pink beige. Okay, hope that's better. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm just using that shade to just give a little bit of brightness to the brow bone. This is, I will say that Wayne's mattes, while they are matte, they are not like chalky, dry. They still have a little bit of life to them, which I think is great. I mean, we don't want our skin to look like more dry and dull. So this shade looks really pretty for being so light. It didn't give me that, like, I just put like school chalk on my face. So I really like that. Now we're gonna take that same brush and move into that third shade, this like, I'm really gonna struggle here with this, trying not to tip this out. We're gonna move into this like more like pinky shade and just put that right into the crease with the same brush. Again, this is just gonna be a very like easy, everyday, quick look. You know, this could definitely be a look for when you're like, okay, I have 10 minutes, I need to get out the door, but I wanna have a bit of a fresh faced look. And I know that Wayne said that he considers this like bridal tones, which I will say, I do think that a lot of like traditional bridal looks had this sort of like pinky, soft feel, but I mean, anymore, I think that like bridal, there's anything. I mean, you see everything from like dark smoky eyes, really shimmery, very natural, colorful, like whatever you want is what you should have. But this really is more of that like traditional bridal feel, that soft romantic vibes. So that color is just that really nice like light wash of pink. I do appreciate that this is, it's not a overly cool pink. Like it's not going to give you like bubblegum feel. It has a little bit of warmth to it to be very flattering. So I like this one a lot. Now, one of the things that I love about Wayne using a large pan size is really, I think that this could be a blush on like light to medium skin tones, and this could honestly like work as like a warm bronzer situation. So that would be really pretty, or like on dark skin tones, this could be like a blush. Now I wish that I had tried that out. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. I could do that in a future video, trying to use this as a face palette as well, because I do think that it could definitely double as that, which is nice if you're traveling, obviously, and hopefully one day we'll all be doing that again. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and tap onto the lid. We are going to take my favorite Wayne Goss brush. This is the 18 brush, and I'm going to take that first, well, that only satin shade that's in here, and pop this onto the lid. Now, Wayne says that he does recommend that you use all of these shades dry. So I'm gonna go with that, but I'm gonna be honest, that Celestial shade, we are wetting that baby. I have to go to work at the salon after this, and I'm not going to be running around with fallout. So I really do enjoy Wayne's satin formula. I wish that there was one more shade in here that had that like satin vibe to it, just because that is my favorite one, but it's okay. We can deal. Okay, so just using it dry, it's definitely a very soft feel, and I did work some of that pink color down onto my lid, which is fine. I kind of wanted to like have those blend together. So this is just a very, very soft, like champagne tone. Like I actually think that if you are a little bit darker than I am, I think that this would actually make for like a really pretty highlight on the face as well. So maybe we'll use it on the inner corner over here and try it wet. We'll see. I sort of have a look planned out for that side, but I'm not quite sure yet. Now, while I was putting the rest of my makeup on, I was actually watching Maria over on Aether Beauty. She was trying out this palette, and she was saying that this gives her like very like Charlotte Tilbury vibes, which I think is totally dead on, which I know that Wayne really loves Charlotte as a person, and you know, he appreciates her aesthetic as a makeup artist and what she's done in the makeup artistry world. So that doesn't surprise me. Charlotte does have a very like bridal, slightly sexed up kind of feel. So I am not surprised by this color story, but I could totally, it totally is like giving me Charlotte Tilbury vibes right now. Now we're gonna take the number 7 brush, again from the Edit It collection, and I'm just gonna go into this shade here. So this is that one that I thought could double as a bronzer. This is so pretty. It's like, it's a softer brown, but it really has like a pinky undertone. It reminds me a little bit of hot cocoa. If you guys have ever gotten like hot cocoa, like the powder that has that slightly pink tone to it, it's really pretty. So this palette really like crosses that bridge between cool and warm, because the pink shade has that like slightly peachy tone to it. This brown, has a slightly rosy shade to it. So it's not warm as in like oranges and golds, but it's warm as in like not too cool that you start to look, like I said, like bubble gummy. I don't know how to explain it. I hope I'm making sense. I'm just gonna run this under the lash line as well. All right, I also see that I have one speck of glitter that is still hanging around from last night's swatch party, and it's not going anywhere. So we're just gonna have a little like glitter beauty mark today. I feel like sometimes if I get glitter, I could probably take out some tape and like get that, but I don't want to pick at my eye skin for so long that I'm like gonna give myself more wrinkles just to get one piece of glitter off. I'm just gonna be over it. And this shade really builds up very nicely. Now I will say, I think that this palette is going to be extra flattering if you have green or blue eyes, just because of these like pinky tones. It's gonna look really, really pretty. I was going to try to stick to all Wayne Goss brushes for this video, but I really want to do a bit of push liner, and I know that I have a Wayne Goss brush that's good for this, but we're gonna go through with the Rougher 29. This is like a very teeny tiny little flat brush, and I'm just going to use that more like taupey gray shade, and we're just gonna push this into the lash line. And I'm just doing like that like outer third. Now, sometimes I do push liner from the bottom to work through the lashes, but with this, because this brush is so small, I feel like I can really get super close to the lash line from up above. And by the way, I really don't see any fallout at all. I did get just a couple micro specks from this gray shade, but I think that was honestly because I worked it into the brush and I didn't tap any off. Okay, so just really doing that like outer, I would say third. I think this is very pretty. It's obviously going to be a very like soft daytime, like throw it on and go kind of look. The only thing that I feel like I'm missing is a light inner corner shade. I really do like a nice brightened up inner corner, and there's nothing in here. I mean, I could do the matte shade in the inner corner, but I like something with a bit of shimmer. Let's lay down this matte shade first, just so you guys can see. Yeah, see, I mean, it does brighten it up a little bit, but I definitely want a little more pop. So I think I'm gonna go into the face palette that I used today. This is the Coral Rose palette, and I'm just gonna take the highlight from this. The only thing is, like, this is definitely more of like a, I don't know, like champagne-y tone. So it's gonna be a little bit warmer, but we're just gonna make it work. Yeah, see, I just need that little bit. And it's nice because this highlight isn't like over the top, so it just gives that little bit of softness, and I really like that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes, put mascara on, and we can move on to our dramatic date night, nighttime, smoky vibe look. We'll see what we come up with. Okay, so here is the final light look. Even with a light eyeshadow look, I love a lot of mascara. I love me some mascara. So I went through with a 1-2 punch. I went through with the L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black first to really help like stretch and elongate my lashes, and then the Bite Beauty Upswing Mascara. You guys know this is a total favorite of mine. This is definitely more of like a lifting and volumizing mascara though, but one coat of each, and I'm very happy with it. I really like this look. It's very soft, easy. Honestly, if you weren't talking to a camera, it would take you like 5 minutes to do. But let's move on to this side. We're gonna do something a little more like sultry. So again, my goal with this side is to really push this palette to its most dramatic potential. We will see how it goes. Obviously, like I said, I do still think that this palette has a bit more of a level field as far as the depth of it goes. I'm just gonna quickly pop in with that 04 brush with that pinky shade, and we're gonna run this into our crease. So I know that Wayne said that he had listened to what people said. They were saying that they really didn't want to see a black in every palette like he had originally thought that he would do. But I have to say, I feel like this palette could use a black. I think the gray, the taupey gray is going to be pretty, but I think that there's just something that's just like missing as far as depth in this palette. Now I know that I can and probably will pull out the Imperial Topaz palette to get that black out. I just wish that there was a black in here. I just wish there was black in here. And I get that I am one of few, so I'm glad that he's listening to the masses, but I know what he's saying with you know, it is nice to have a black in a palette because you can really transform a look. But, you know, if you have a lot of the Wayne Goss palettes, you're already gonna have his black formula. All right, so now that we have our crease just kind of like blown out with a little bit of that pink shade, I'm gonna go through with this gray shade. I think I'm gonna do like a little bit of a halo eye. We're gonna see what that's gonna be, what we're going for. I don't know what we'll end up with, but we're starting out with the thoughts of doing a halo eye. So we're just gonna do like a really nice little smoky moment. And the thing about these shades is you can do a more dramatic placement and it's still gonna come out really nice and soft just because of the color story. By the way, this is the number 6 from the edit. Okay, I am gonna switch to my trusty 18. I just want a flat brush to be able to really intensify the inner and outer corner. And I want a halo vibe, but I don't want like a cut crease. So I'm really still keeping this transition area soft and blending the two. All right, now I'm gonna go through and just take a little bit of concealer and dab that on the center of the lid just so we can re-brighten this. I did try to like avoid that area a bit, but I don't mind just going back in with a little bit of concealer. Now, if you have really textured lids, and you're not wanting to like keep layering up product on your lid, you could just go through and use a bit of Bioderma or something like that, and then going through, you know, with a bit of eye primer or something like that, just so you're not like building up a ton of product if you did get a lot of eyeshadow in the middle of your lid. Because if you then go over that with a cream and then you put another powder over it, you've got like powder, cream, powder, and your lids are gonna look a little bit more textured. But luckily, I'm not battling that yet. I'm sure it's coming soon, but we're not quite there yet. All right, so this is probably gonna shock you, but I'm gonna actually take my finger in that top middle shade, that satin shade, and we're just gonna lay this down over that concealer. And this is gonna be a base for that celestial shade. You guys know I don't really love using my finger, but I feel like this this method, it's nice to have something where you can like press in. So now that that is on, I'm gonna take a little bit of glitter glue and I'm gonna use the Glam Glue. We're just gonna tap a little bit of that on the lid. And again, we're gonna use our finger. I'm gonna just go in with this dry on my finger. So the shade definitely has a slightly flaky texture, but it is nowhere near as flaky as some of the brands that I've tried. I like that with the finger, but I am wondering if I use a spatula. I'm just wondering if I use it damp on a spatula, if I'm gonna be able to get a little bit more oomph out of it. So I'm gonna take a little bit on the spatula. I just get these on Amazon, like a 6 or an 8 pack is like really cheap. And I'm just gonna tap this over the middle. Oh yeah, see, I get a lot more intensity from that. Wetting it gives you more of a like shimmer shadow feel though, and less glittery. So I don't know, like it gives you more of like a metallic shadow feel and less of the sparkle. You guys, that's really pretty. So now to soften it out, I'm just going to take that flat shader and I'm going to take a little bit of that satin color and just hit the edge on the inner and outer, because that got pretty intense once I wet it. Like I said, it became more of like a metallic. All right. I just wanted to like take away that like line. Every time I say I'm gonna do something like more intense, if I think I'm gonna start out with something like that's like really like blocked out, I always end up softening it. There are certain times where I do things that are a little bit more like edged, but most of the time I end up going softer. Okay, so now we're gonna take the pencil brush. This is the number 5, and we're just gonna run, first we're gonna run that gray shade underneath the lash line, and I'll probably buff the edges of that out with another color. I don't know if I got a lot of fallout from that gray shade when I was using it, or if I still just have like a little bit of darkness from last night's makeup. I'm gonna be honest, my inner corner just seems like really dark. Or maybe it's the fact that I got up at 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom and could not fall back asleep. So it could just be lack of sleep, who knows? And I'm just using that same pencil brush to really like deepen that color up on the very, very corners. This gray actually gets pretty dark. Like, so if you want something that's got a kick in the pants, you're gonna be able to get that from this color, given, you know, the color that it starts, right? Like, you're not gonna get close to black with this, obviously, but you can get a really nice deeper shade. Okay, I think I'm gonna try using that satin shade as a brow bone highlight. It's a little bit dark for me, but it's not too bad. If it weren't summer, I don't think that I could use this as a brow bone highlight. It has a really pretty shade to it though. It's just that beautiful, like peachy, slightly light copper. Oh, so pretty. I really want to leave all of the lid space so that you can see that sparkle, but I'm gonna go ahead and do my upper and lower waterline. Lots of mascara, maybe a lash. I don't know. We'll see when it's done. If I feel like it warrants a lash, we might end up throwing on a lash, but I think I'm just going to try to do tons of mascara. I know that's Wayne's vibe too, where it's like lots, layers and layers of mascara. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. All right, here we have the final look on our smoky, sultry nighttime side. What do you guys think? I really like it. I really like it. I think like that the amount of impact you can get out of this palette is pretty impressive. Now, obviously, I went through with a black liner on my waterline, which always helps intensify. I used the Urban Decay 24/7 waterline liner, and I really like it, but that is all I did. I mean, the rest of this is all straight from the palette, and I feel like you get a really nice, intense look. And of course, gobs and gobs and gobs of mascara. So, well, not really, 3 coats. I did 2 coats of the L'Oreal Telescopic and 1 of the Bite Beauty. So I think that this does not need a lash. I find like with a halo eye, if you have too intensive lashes, you miss out on all the magic on the eyelid, right? So I think that this looks nice. You can see on this side, it's just a little lighter and softer. So you guys will have to let me know. Do you have a favorite side? Is this a palette that you would wear? Do you think that you'd get some good use out of it? I know that I'm gonna get some use out of this. I really like this. Like I said, this is probably gonna be a palette for me that is very easy to just grab and go. It's also gonna be something that I know that I can use these beautiful mattes and add a more intense shimmery shade from another brand if I really wanted to. Like, you guys know, I'm already kind of tempted to like do a look like this and then on somewhere on the lid, like pop on a really fun like multi-chrome or something. Let me know if you want to see that. I really, like I said, I would like to use this palette, try to use it as a full face palette, like use that shade as a beautiful like bronzer, use that blush. I think now while I'm tanner with the summer, I could even use that satin shade as my highlight. So that might be kind of a fun video. If you want to see that, let me know. And then we can use a little like fun topper shade as well. So I'm really happy. All right, so now that you've spent a lot of time way up close to my face, let's zoom out and we can talk a little bit more about the palette. Hey lovelies, I'm back. So really quick, I just wanted to mention, first of all, I wanted to show you guys this look because I zhuzhed it a little bit because I have to go to work, so I needed something that was like even. I actually just about walked out the door and then I was like, I should probably make my eyes look the same. So I have to say, when I went back over to this side to like try to make it match, when I did the halo, I didn't even bother with any concealer because obviously I didn't have like the gray in the middle. So I just went down with this Glam Glue and then I used that spatula, that like silicone spatula, and just went right over it dry. And I really got a nice reflective, slightly sparkly look, whereas when I went through on this side on the spatula with it wet, it became more of that foil. So if you want a little bit more of sparkle, I would still use a glitter glue, but just go through and don't wet it. So I just wanted to say that. And then I went through and intensified the look like just through the outer crease with this warm brown. And that's really the only changes I made, just because I had used a little bit of that brown out here. So I felt like I needed to use a little bit on both sides, but that's it. So I just wanted to give you guys that little update on how I am liking to use this like celestial topper shade. So use a glue, but don't make it wet. If you want it to be sparkly, use a glue, but make it wet if you want it to be more foiled. Hope that helps. Okay, so I think also like now that you're a little bit further away, you can kind of see the different impact. Move my hair out of the way so that you can see. So I feel like that definitely has some nice sultry smoky, but this is just like that fresh, just like pretty look. It's just that like pretty look. That's all I have to say. So this palette, am I happy I got it? Absolutely. The shadow quality is really, really great. A couple things is I do wish for me, and I know that like if you were going for this as like a bridal palette, right? I mean, first of all, you only have 6 shades. You can only do so much with 6 shades, but I would like to have seen one more satin shade in here. And I'm not quite sure which one I would want to be satin because I really like all of these. So probably what I want is Wayne to have like 8 pans instead of just 6 pans. I'm not gonna lie, that's probably what I would have wanted, because then we could have had one more satin shade and we also could have had the black. And like I said, I really do think that this is one palette that either needs the black, doesn't need it. It would have been nice to have the black, or we need to have like something that has a little bit more intense depth. Like that gray you can really build up to have a nice intense depth, but I would have liked to have seen one other shade to have some options with. But that is just it. I do also think that there are going to be, this is obviously a palette that's going to be more for like light to medium, maybe medium deep tones, but I do think that if you are darker than me, you're probably not going to get much use out of this first shade. So that's kind of like a bummer right there. And so that's the shade that I feel like everybody has somewhere in their collection if they really feel like they need one. Like, doesn't everybody who uses a matte bone eyeshadow have a matte bone eyeshadow somewhere that they could pull out? So maybe that's what I wanted. I would have liked to have seen these ones and then like a black or a darker, another darker shade here, or a satin. I don't know. I just want to see 8 pans, Wayne. Can you bring out an 8 pan? I'm a girl who likes her options. And if you guys know me, you will know that that is really for me like a 6 pan. It's really confining me. It's really confining me. But for a 6 pan, this is really beautiful. For the $55, you get a lot of product in here. If you are someone that only likes to have a few different palettes, or if you really do think you could use this as a face palette, it's going to be nice to have these big pans. You can fit any brush in it, and it's really going to be a beautiful way to travel, have something that you can just quick grab and go with. So that is my thoughts on that. I'm happy I have it. I can't wait to see what makeup is in store for Wayne. I really am enjoying both of the eyeshadow palettes that I have. Now what I'm going to do is we will go ahead and get into some swatches. Before we do that, I did want to share with you what I do have on my face. So for my face, I went through with the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Stick in the shade Ginger. You guys know that I really love this. I did also for my concealer, I actually went through with Tarte Shape Tape, just a tiny, tiny little bit. And it's actually looking pretty good, especially considering that I actually forgot to put on my moisturizer today. Ugh! I put on my vitamin C serum and I was like running around, and then I sat down and I put my foundation stick on and I was like, ugh. So I just used a couple hydration sprays to blend it in, and I think we're doing okay. Luckily it's summer and I'll be feeling a little juicy in a little while. So other than that, like I said, I do have the Coral Rose Cheek palette on, which is somewhere in here. That's the other thing, like all of Wayne's compacts are all the same color, so I've got them all out and I'm like, which one am I grabbing? So Coral Rose is what I used for my blush and my highlight today. It just gives that beautiful like soft glow. You can really build it up though as well, so that's a lovely one. And again, that's what we used in our inner corner on this side. And for my bronzer, little oldie but goodie, this is the Fenty Cheeks Out bronzer in Macchiato. I'm really just, I really like this formula, but I want to use it up because I know that this is one of my oldest cream bronzers and I really want to use it up before it goes bad. And then for the lips, I have the Wayne Goss Essential Lip Pencil in Natural Berry on. I was going to grab one of my lip glosses. I have Hyacinth and another shade, and I think they're both at work, so can't do the lip gloss. I have a Wayne Goss lipstick too, and I'm not quite sure where that one is. So I went in with the Lisa Eldridge Rose Official shade. This is from the new formula, the Luxuriously Lucent. So this is a nice rosy shade. It is a bit more pink than what we have going on the eyes, but I don't really like to be like too matchy-matchy. I like to have a little bit of contrast. So I think that the bit more rosiness of this is actually really flattering. So just in case you were curious about what is on my face, that's what it is. All right, now if you would like to see some comparison swatches, I'm gonna insert those, but this is where we're going to sign off together. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a like. It really does help me out. Again, let me know if you would like to see me using this face palette as like a full face opportunity, and then maybe adding a little pop with something special. I think that that could be kind of fun. I really do appreciate you taking some time out of your day to spend it here with me. It means so much, and I'll see you really soon.